Rich.
I'm Othello.
And I'm Aaron.
And without Jelly, we miss you, girl. We're still Fandom United. Now, before we get going tonight on some of the things that we promised last week, like our elevator pitch segment, which is something new that we're going to do, we want to talk about some of the news that's going on. First of all, you're ready to go.
What's going on?
Like, what's going on?
This is news that we can't just skim over.
Let's talk
pretty
about
big.
Avengers Endgame is rumored to be re-released in theaters with additional footage. Now, we don't know. Yeah.
Okay, real quick. When I heard this, it reminded me of that episode of Big Bang Theory where they were going to see Raiders of the Lost Ark. They had the lost 13 seconds of it. It totally changes the whole premise of the film.
Yes.
That's what I thought when I heard this. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
But nobody knows what this is. It could be...
He hinted at it a little bit.
It's going to be like
a
after-credit
tribute,
scene.
A deleted scene, and then an after-credit scene.
But okay, let's be honest. We all know why he's doing it.
It's just it's a grab to try and get that
number one spot.
That number one spot
from Avatar. They're only a couple $100 million away, I think.
Yeah, they'll hit it. They'll hit it.
You don't think they could just sit
close.
And wait, and then it would happen anyways?
No, because it's dying down, and there's so much stuff that's coming out now. The interest has waned. Right, so everybody has seen it, multiple times.
And if they haven't, it's been spoiled by the internet.
Right. So why not entice people to go back, see this deleted scene, see the after credit scene, which we did not have the first time, and that should be enough to get enough butts and seats to generate enough money to take Avatar out of the number one spot.
If it's not ready yet, they need to shoehorn that scene with Fat Thor singing "Hurt." Oh my god, have you seen that?
That might be the deleted scene that they threw in. That could be very much. Yeah.
They should put that at
I don't think it was
end
actually
of the
shot
trailer.
because it was in his trailer. But I mean, still,
awesome.
You could just shoehorn it in there, and people would love it.
Well, and the thing with a deleted scene, right? You don't have to get everybody back. You only need one or two people. And if you have the sets or whatever, you could just do one or two people. You could even do, the whole thing CGI with Rocket and Groot. And
probably already shot. I bet it was an alternate scene that they did, because there were so many takes that they did to throw off the cast so that people weren't leaking stuff.
Right.
So it's probably something that they shot and they're like, let's not use this. And then when they're like, hey, we can make this 30 seconds longer and people will come see it again. And so, yeah, I bet it was something that they already had in the can.
Yeah, something I read that they actually cut out was a lot of people were asking about where's the love story between Black Widow and Hulk.
Yeah,
they did shoot that. It just
they cut it out for time.
They had to stay on the rails. They couldn't get off the rails, or else it was already at 3 hours.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but we were already there. We weren't going anywhere.
Right.
Feige, you knew we weren't moving.
Don't worry, they'll put it on the extended cut collector's edition for $50.
Everybody in the movie theater had 2 cups, one for the soda. And, come on.
Or we
everybody had a pee
Thank
cup.
You, Jelly.
Don't act like it wasn't just me. Or
it was just you. It was just you.
I wasn't moving. Did not happen. Or, like Jelly, who, was full of baby at that time. She made through most of it, though, didn't she?
Yeah.
So, yeah, good on her.
She was the one who brought us on to Run Pee. I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah. All right.
Which, there's Avatar, when it won, was not owned by Disney. But now isn't Avatar technically owned by Disney?
Yes,
so don't they already own the number one spot?
They do. And...
But he's not tied to that. Kevin Feige's not tied to that.
Right.
I see.
Yeah,
he wants that title.
What little bonus is in his contract, right? That's going to say, hey, you got the number one spot. Look at you. Here's a good boy.
$20 million.
Here's $50 million. Yeah, here's $20 million. There you go. Buy yourself a new couple Ferraris. There, one for every day. So who knows what's in that?
That's true.
And regardless, that's still going to be another chunk of cheese for the mouse. So they don't care if he bumps them off the number one spot, because that money's still going to them if he does.
And it doesn't matter anyway, because when Avatar 2 comes out, it'll probably displace. It has a good chance to displace a lot of those movies.
Though?
I disagree.
The first
Who's
one
asking
sucked.
for an Avatar 2?
That's right.
Nobody's asking for an Avatar 2.
I'm right there with you, brother.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Dances with Wolves in Space.
That's what I've always said. It's Dances with Wolves in Space.
Or Pocahontas.
Or Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest.
When I heard
Exact
that
same
they
story.
were doing a trilogy, I was like, nobody asked for that. Nobody was like, man, I really want to see another
that's
Avatar.
not true. The people who count the money at Disney,
they asked for it.
At whatever movie company that was under at the time, they asked for it.
It was Fox.
How can we make 2 more of these and just
make
make a
more
crap
money?
load of money?
Avatar was a fluke. It was, check out
wasn't,
this
though.
3D technology.
It was the technology that got butts in seats. It was effects that we had never seen before. And to do a movie lifelike CGI and have it carry the movie and have you not realize it was the big draw of Avatar.
It wasn't Avatar the movie. It wasn't the movie.
It wasn't
itself.
the plot because we've seen it. I think that's gonna. I think it'll be really pretty when it comes out. Avatar 2. The original plan years ago was that they were going to explore the undersea kingdoms or the oceanic side of the planet and all of that and go underwater. But I've already seen Aquaman and it was pretty. So what are you going to show me that's going to get me like, ooh, Avatar? What are you going to do? Right? Those effects now are so much more commonplace than they were back then.
Yeah.
What are you going to give me now?
And are they really doing 3D anymore?
I guarantee that they will. I mean, because it did so well for them. That's my one regret about Avatar is that I didn't see it in 3D, just because I heard that like the scene where
amazing.
the embers were falling, that it looked like that there was embers in the theater, and I wish I would have experienced that. Still didn't enjoy the movie. I was bored through 80% of the movie. It's like, oh my god, this is worse than Dances with Wolves, which I know that people love that movie who like that movie. I don't like westerns. I don't, and this was just a western in space, it just didn't do anything for me.
Well, so was Serenity and Firefly, but you like
No.
those.
It's a little bit different.
No, that's a western in space. That's the
By yourself.
Just saying.
You
Just
shut your
saying,
mouth,
you can't-
Othello.
You can't.
Don't
pick
you
and
talk
choose
about
like
my
that.
Firefly.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You know what? If Avatar had Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk,
Then
I probably would have felt a
be
little bit different about it.
Yeah. I mean, I love Zoe Saldana and Sam Worthington and all of that, but and Sigourney Weaver. I mean, I love you, girl. You know I do. I've carried water for Sigourney Weaver for years, ever since Alien. I was like, if she's in it, I'm watching it. I love her, but
We're friends anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm a big fan of hers.
I'm not.
Most of the things I've seen her in, I've enjoyed.
It's okay. She may not be a fan of me, and I'm okay with it.
Because how can you not love Galaxy Quest?
That was the movie that really turned me on her. That I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't know why I was hating on her for all these years, but yeah, I didn't.
And she even made a great Marvel villain for Iron Fist.
I was gonna ask that. How did you feel about her when she was? It didn't make the show any better.
It didn't make the show any better. Just it was nice to have her there, and it was more like her name kind of thing. But they didn't give her enough meat to chew on. Like her scenes were just kind of like here and gone. And it was just when her character died, it was just kind of like.
Yeah, I even forgot she was in it until you guys just brought it up.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Marvel shows, we switch tracks here real quick. Let's talk about Jessica Jones Season 3 that just premiered this last weekend. And man, I hate to say it because, I enjoyed... The first season was okay. Mm-hmm. I really loved David Tennant, and it was so interesting.
David Tennant made season 1.
Because, I went from seeing him as the Doctor... And then the next thing I see him in is he's like one of the most depraved, evil, bad guys I've ever seen, and one of the best Marvel has ever put out. He made that season. The show would be a complete failure if it were not for him.
Absolutely.
The second season was better written, better filmed. So I did actually enjoy that a bit more than the first season. This last season, this third season, is really good. And I know you don't like Jessica Jones very much at all. It's super good.
You know what? Actually, I do. I liked it. It was it wasn't my favorite out of the series, but I didn't dislike it more than I did Iron Fist. But it wasn't Punisher or Daredevil or even Luke Cage. For that matter. Those three were just so good. I thought there was like an ocean between those three versus Jessica Jones and Iron Fist.
Yeah.
So I didn't dislike it, and if I'm the kind of person I can like a bad movie and I will watch it all the way to the end.
And
okay, I'm invested because I got to know how it ends. I want to see how it wraps up.
And then tried to make me watch it. Like Gods of Egypt. I mean, that movie's
movie.
terrible. That movie sucks. Sucks.
Have you ever sat and watched a bad movie just be like, it's got to get better. It's got to improve.
Yeah, it's usually when the credits start.
I usually don't. Usually I'll know a bad movie like really early in. I'm like, oh, this is not going to be a good movie, and I'll just sit there and I'll enjoy it all the way through for the bad movie that it is. But then, I mean, on the flip side too, sometimes there's like a movie that people just go on and on about, being a great movie, and I'm like, this is stupid. And in the last second, something happens, a plot twist. I'm like, okay, yeah, I gotta watch that again. What happened to me with Fight Club? I was hating that movie all the way through it, and I'm like, oh my god, just get interesting, do something, anything. I mean, okay,
yeah. I was digging it, though.
And then when I saw that they were the same person, I didn't see it coming. I don't know how I didn't, because usually I figure stuff like that out real quick, and I'm like, oh hell. Yeah, you know what? And I literally, it was on VHS. I rewound it and watched it a second
again.
time.
Yeah.
After hating it, 90 minutes of it, the first time. Sat there and watched it a second time, back to back.
I liked that movie because I just thought it was just some, crazy dudes getting together. I'm like, oh, they're going to, create a terrorist cell. And then you watch the end of it, and I'm like, oh, I need to watch it again. I felt the same way, like, I need to rewatch that immediately because it was so good because of the twist. But unlike you, I didn't hate it. I was actually feeling it, but then I fell in love with it.
I think it built up too much for me. I think is what it was. People were just going on and on. I didn't see it in theaters, so it was on VHS. So back then, I mean, VHS didn't come out until like 18 months after the movie had been in theaters. So I heard a lot of stuff about this movie. Like, oh, you gotta watch it. Like, okay, it's on VHS. I'll check it out now. And yeah.
But let's to get back on topic, because I want you to talk about Jessica Jones before we talk about our next topic. But
Season 3 moved Jessica Jones up, in my opinion, on the four shows. Like,
yes.
Jessica Jones was towards the bottom. It was just above Iron Fist. It moved up above Luke Cage with this third season.
I have to agree with that. And I love me some Luke Cage. I mean, I still wear my black Carhartt hoodie. I brought it with me. But I mean, I love Luke Cage. But since I was a kid, and Daredevil was still tops. I mean, you just
no doubt. Even Punisher couldn't touch that.
No, Punisher was great.
Yeah,
Punisher was great. But man, this last season, I mean, just the little things like the bokeh filter that they put on cameras when they do their establishing shot in the beginning. How part of it is in focus and the rest of it is not. To show like, oh, you're looking through a camera lens kind of thing, like she's a private eye, and you get that whole feel throughout the entire series and little things like that. I love. I'm such a sucker for like mystery movies and stuff like that. The noir detective narration.
They never really embraced that in the first two seasons.
No, and I love it that they've leaned so heavily into this third season and made it like
a lot about this really felt like very detective noir. Just the whole kind of storyline through it felt that way.
And it's an actual it's not a mystery in as far as who's the bad guy. It's a mystery in how do we catch him, and then once we catch him, oh crap, here's the fallout of it, and how do we get all this figured out. So it's definitely worth a watch if you've slept on Jessica Jones before, because season 1 didn't grab you and season 2 was meh. Season 3, their final season, obviously, because it was canceled, is great. And it actually makes me sad. It makes me lament for what could have been if Marvel and Netflix were able to.
That's how I still feel about the Daredevil stuff. And that's
Charlie.
Yeah.
I really feel like pretty much all the shows, like, they were hitting their stride. Like, they were really getting to the part where everyone would have really been into it, and then they just chopped them all off. Each of the shows was hitting their stride at the end.
Yeah, and only two, I think, Luke Cage and Iron Fist kind of ended with cliffhangers where there was definitely seeds for where to go next.
Punisher had that also.
Punisher,
They set it up where he was like,
where they could
okay, this isn't me like trying to figure out who I am. I know what I am, and I know who I am now.
It was a seed, but it was also his happy ending.
Yes,
at the same time.
That was his version of a happy ending, right? Like he's like, okay, I'm fully in this now, and I'm just traveling around, and I'm busting heads. You know what? That's great for him. And I think Daredevil they definitely got their ending. They wrapped up all the storylines, and Jessica Jones also got that show's ending as well. And man, oh man, I expect a text from you when you get that like those last few episodes, because there's surprise deaths and people who flip and just the whole thing. When you get to the last episode, and it's like, oh, wow, that is not a good. It is a detective. It is a detective noir ending.
Yeah.
Where most of the characters in your typical detective noir do not get a happy ending.
And
because it's just not how life. Yeah, it's just not how life works. And they, like I said before, they really lean heavy into the season, and it makes it really good. All right, so now that we're done with Jessica Jones, let's talk about J.J. Abrams signing a $500 million deal with Warner Media. So
what's this about?
So it looks like he's going to be done with Star Trek, right? And so we're not getting any more bad robot Star Treks, right? That's gone. And
that's not on him that's not happening either. I mean, that's all the big paychecks that
Chris Pine and Hemsworth need to get paid now.
Yeah,
that's just what it is.
No fault to them. I get it.
They're A-listers now.
Paramount's like, oh yeah, we ain't doing that.
Yeah. So I'm just worried. Like when we first started talking about this earlier, I saw what he did to Star Wars. I saw what he did to Star Trek, and now I'm afraid that they're going to give him DC.
I like how you put that. I saw what he did to, not what he did for, what he brought.
Yeah, no. I said what I would say what I meant to say. I loved Alias, JJ, at least the beginning, until you got to the red ball and the liquid and all that craziness toward the end. And you said it earlier, like he's great at starting, but really bad at
He's a starter,
finishing.
but he's not a finisher, to use a sports analogy that I should never use because
you don't know the sports ball.
I don't know the sports ball.
He knows nothing about sports ball at all.
He needs a pinch hitter to be with him at all times.
When Alias came out, it was a great show. Teetered in the last season because he was Lost was the new thing, and all of his effort in the third season of Alias, all his effort was going in this new show that he's developing. Fourth season, which he just phoned it in, was because Lost had taken off and everybody's loving it. All of his good ideas were going to this show, and it was all about the red ball and that stuff. And he did that every time that he had introduced the red ball on a show. It's like, okay, that's where he jumped to shark. Because he did the same thing in Star Trek. I'm like, don't want to see
he sure did.
the red ball.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah.
But yes, that's like his thing.
He did the same thing with Lost. He started Lost, and then that thing
it fizzled.
That thing fizzled bad. Really bad.
So bad. So I'm afraid for what this means for DC going forward. I really want Warner Brothers and DC to turn around. I love the DC properties. I mean, I know I got a Black Panther shirt and hat on. You think, oh, he's just a Marvel guy. I love Marvel. It's not Crips and the Bloods, people. You can love both. and I love DC as well. And I want them to do better. And I love Shazam and Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Those are all steps in the right direction. But now I'm afraid of J.J. Abrams reinventing the wheel with the Justice League and trying. He's the new Zack Snyder for them. Or no, you said it actually better when I first brought that in here, that news in here, that you think he's going to be Warner Media's Kevin Feige.
That's the position that they're hiring him for.
That terrifies me.
Whether he can be that is different than...
It terrifies me.
Because instead of Kevin Feige, he could be in there as a Zack Snyder, which,
But... to that, I mean, because a lot of people who are Zack Snyder fans are going to hate him because they felt elevated the art form, right? Because they're the hardcore Snyder fans. I know. But so they're going to hate Abrams, right? Because he's the master of the popcorn movie. He's the one that made a Star Trek movie look like a Star Wars movie.
That's what got me in that seat, though.
I'm always gonna think of the Darkwing Duck DuckTales episode.
Yes.
Now, and whenever I think of Zack Snyder, it's always gonna be.
Always gonna be like, oh, he's Darkwing. Yeah, yeah. We should. You have to put some stills or something in there so people can see it. We have to try to figure out how to explain that, or just leave a link to it somewhere.
Yeah, I could do that.
Watch it. But it's an awesome episode. You definitely should. So yeah, I don't know. I'm worried. I'm DC fans. Just saying. I think I don't. Hey, well, the lens flare should be awesome though.
He's backed off that. Okay. Star Wars. I got why 7 was what it was. You know, hey, we put out 3 really crappy movies that didn't feel like Star Wars. We're going to bring it back to center and let you guys know we remember what Star Wars feels like. I was okay that it was A New Hope again. Okay. Yeah. Because I thought it was a way of bringing it back to center. And I don't think that it was JJ's fault that Johnson did
just went off the rails,
what he did and said, hey, you know what? I don't care about what that story was. We're doing this story.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can only fault Rian Johnson so much for that because that falls back to, well, what was the direction that you were given? What were the parameters that were put on what you can do?
Yeah. I'm more interested in seeing 9 to see how much of 8 they try to retcon.
Oh, it's going to have to be 80% of it.
All of it.
You know what I mean? Like that is my biggest interest in seeing 9. Is like I just want to see how
Luke
much
Skywalker is going to come back to life somehow. I'm expecting that.
Bro, like if he walks out from behind a sand dune with like some blue milk and a cheese sandwich, I'm going to lose my junk. I'm just
if they're bringing back Emperor Palpatine, why can't Luke Skywalker come back to life?
So if JJ can pull it off, maybe I'll take back what I said about him being able to finish the story, but not bloody likely. All right, so we did promise you elevator pitches last week, so this is going to be a new segment. We're gonna try it out. So the elevator pitches is basically one of us has an idea for a show or a movie or some other property to be developed, and we have to convince the other two that it's a good idea or not. So Aaron has this week's elevator pitch.
Batman Beyond the movie. I believe that we have reached burnout stage with Batman movies. I mean, we've seen what? 3, 6, 8. A lot. We've seen 8 Batman movies since the original Batman in the 1980s.
Yeah, it's been a lot, yeah.
So I think it's time to retire Batman and bring in Terry McGinnis and Batman Beyond. So, but to bring a full circle, I think that we bring in Michael Keaton.
Yes.
As old Batman.
Yes, you have to.
So
I'm with you.
Here's what I want to see your reaction. You may know. So I want to see Steve Carey as Terry McGinnis, and you're probably like, "Who the hell is Steve Carey?" Steve Carey was.
He read my mind because I have no idea.
Stranger Things.
Oh no!
He kind of looks like
what?
He kind of looks like Michael Keaton. He's got that witty personality of Terry McGinnis. And I know he's kind of scrawny, but they were able to make Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire.
If they were able to make Tobey Maguire ripped, they can make anybody ripped.
I don't know. Oh, you were... Man, I was riding with you. I was there. I'm all for Batman Beyond. I'm all for the future. Michael Keaton as old Bruce would be retired Batman. Brilliant.
I agree.
That would be a master stroke from DC and Warner Brothers if they could pull that off. I'm not feeling Terry McGinnis. I'm not.
Do you have a better pick?
What's the kid they just signed to be He-Man, which is a bad casting? Noah Centino, whatever. Yeah. That kid, that guy has the look. I think he has the look. And I think he would be a really good McGinnis. I don't know if I feel Steve as McGinnis.
He kind of looks like he looks a little bit like.
Which one was he on Stranger Things?
He was Steve. He was Steve Harrington. He was
Steve Harrington.
He was the babysitter.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that one.
He kind of. I think he would do a good job. I had another pick.
Who was your other pick?
My other pick was. Do you remember Maze Runner?
Yeah.
The main character from Maze Runner.
Wow, I wish I could remember who that was.
I don't remember his name directly, but I remember.
It's probably Noah Centino. See, now I gotta look it up because if it is him, then I win. Let's see.
Or how about the kid from Ender's Game? And not really. I just wanted to bring it up because I knew that it
man,
anytime I can bring up Ender's Game, the movie, I'm gonna bring it up.
Oh my gosh, I got so upset I forgot what I was looking up right now. Jeez, oh, that movie.
I was expecting your reaction when I pulled him out.
Oh, I hate that movie.
I was totally expecting that reaction.
All right, let's see if this pulls up in the time that we have.
See, but I don't know the kid who they picked for He-Man, so I mean,
I'll find you a picture later.
I could be with you,
but
Isn't there like
yeah.
a He-Man now?
Mm-hmm. Are you talking about Dylan O'Brien? Was Thomas the main character?
yeah, Dylan O'Brien.
Well, better than Steve.
What is it that you don't like about Steve?
Maybe if I could see him without a mullet.
Without the long hair?
Maybe that might help. I just don't.
Well, you know what? The kid who was the punk kid from that was also in Power Rangers. He was pretty good. And
Well, you know what though? I'll back off on that. If it was a choice between Steve and Robert Pattinson, whatever. I'll go with Steve all day. I do not want to see this Matt Reeves Batman movie. I just don't. But we don't have time for that this week. So until we see you guys next time, F you everybody. Have a good night.